and welcome to Everyday Petrolhead. I'm your host, Terrence Anderson, and welcome to my channel. So what are we going to discuss today? Well, I felt that after having a couple of conversations in a couple of Facebook group chats, I thought it would be good to discuss how to join a Facebook group and, proper etiquette. Well, what the group's etiquette would like your etiquette to be. I also wanted to talk about car meets, what to do when you go to a car meet and how you should probably behave in your first initial time at a car meet. So you went out and you bought a car, and it's something for you to either tool around with, play around with, work on, or maybe you bought something that was your dream car, or it's just your kit car, whatever the case, or you just want to know more about your own vehicle. Car groups online are really great for that. I mean, you can always Google search things and find forums, but car groups are great because there's always somebody who's had the similar experience or has dealt with something similar to what you're dealing with. So, yes, you decided to join a car group. So, let's start with that. Okay, so yes, so you bought the car. So let's say, for the sake of argument, it's a BMW. But you don't know anything. This was my experience when I bought my car. I didn't know much about BMW. I did a little research. I knew I wanted one at some point in my life, and I decided to pick one that was also family friendly. So you decide to buy a car. You go online. When you are looking for a group, it's okay to join multiple groups just to figure out which group works best for you. I know for myself, I joined several groups for BMW, and some international, some national, and all of them have provided varying levels of experience, expertise, definitely a huge knowledge base, everything from expert mechanics all the way down to every man who barely knows how to change a spark plug. And the beauty of all of this is that you are somewhere in that mix. So you'll find somebody that meets you at your level, or somebody who may be better than you, who can bring you up to their level. Talking to you, Paul. There's also some camaraderie that comes along with having a group like this. So that being said, with all of those factors in the equation, when you join a group, first things first, most groups have rules. Mind you, these rules exist for a reason. When you think about back in the day, you used to buy coffee at McDonald's, it didn't have a warning on it. And then one day it had a warning on it. Why is that? Well, somebody didn't pay attention to how hot the levels were for the water when they were making the coffee, so it was a little too hot. And the person drinking the coffee decided to, do some adverse reaction to the situation, and they accidentally spilled it on themselves. Hence the reason we now have a lawsuit, and there are rules for having stuff on the coffee that says this is too hot, which should just be common knowledge. But again, we're not going to discuss that. We're going to move on from there. Common sense is not very common, people. So when you go into the group, first you obviously send a message to the administrators, and hopefully they approve you and allow you to be a part of the group. Once you're in the group, read the rules of the page. Usually the very first post, there's something that's listed that says, here are the rules, here are the things, no spamming, etc., etc., etc. I know two of the groups that I'm a part of, they don't like you to post too many YouTube videos. And I am grateful that they allow me to post my videos, just because, I think some of what I have to say is fairly informative and helpful. And I try my best to add value to the group. Add value to the group. Don't just be a leech. That's really annoying. Nobody likes a leech. So you bought the car and you're now part of the group. And you have an issue that comes up. Well, in the Facebook groups, there's this little itty bitty window all the way off to the left. Sometimes it's a little unnoticeable, but it's worth looking at. It's called search. Now I'm being a little a little facetious because I know when I first started in the group, I didn't do the search thing. I actually realized that, I want to say 10 or 12 posts later, damn it, I could have just searched for this first and avoided a lot of headaches with a lot of people in the group. One of the biggest gripes that we find in groups are the fact that people ask the same question over and over and over. Now, this is not exactly the fault of the user who just joined, in a sense. It's, again, part of common sense. This is a group. It's got a large amount of people. You have a car that either is really good or has issues, whatever the case is, you kind of know what some of the issues are already. That being said, with this large number of people, there's a very good chance that your issue has existed before. So, armed with all this knowledge, use the search box. When my battery, this is probably my first issue that I had with my X5, when my battery was acting funny and I didn't know what the problem was, what I ended up doing was writing to the group and saying, hey, my battery's having problems and I'm not sure why my car won't stay on, or the car will be on, it'll be fine, and then I stop the car, turn it off, turn it on, all of a sudden the car doesn't want to start, it's not getting any power. The stereo was blinking and acting crazy, and all of these computer modules in this car do not like when electricity is disrupted. So I wrote the message, and one gentleman in the group wrote, "Oh, this again." And mind you, I've seen this many times since being in the group. This again. So use the search box. Just type in battery, or alternator, or whatever it is, and just look through the feeds. There are many feeds on various issues in the group. That is helpful. What I also found was interesting, because I'm also part of the AMG group on Facebook, is they actually have a folder called Files, and in that folder, on the left, when you click on it, you'll see hundreds and hundreds of documents on how to fix various things with your AMG, or how to find which part is what on your AMG, various documents. We kind of need to do that in the BMW USA group, guys. That's actually a really good idea. But it's helpful because at least you have a base to find generic knowledge on your model car, your group of cars in your model range. So that's the first thing. The second thing, trolling. Nobody likes trolls. Nobody likes them. So when you're in the group, try your best, again, to not be that guy. You know what I mean? And we all know that guy. Now, that being said, there are guys who are just those guys. And I'm friends with a couple of them in the group. But that being said, we all know that's a part of their personality. And honestly, they're really not that bad. Their biggest gripe is the fact of seeing, again, the same questions over and over and over, without people taking time to say, maybe I should look and see if this existed before, if somebody wrote something about this before. So unless it is truly your personality, and let's be honest, there's a lot of Facebook gangsters that like to hide behind keyboards. So unless it's truly your personality, don't be that guy. We don't need that many of that guy. You know what I mean? And I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm a New Yorker, I live in California. I tend to be that guy because New Yorkers are pretty rough. But don't be that guy if you don't have to be that guy. Also, don't be afraid to ask a question. Yes, some questions are seemingly common sense issues, but to be honest with you, again, if you've done the search and you've looked into it carefully, go ahead and ask the question. I don't really know why this and this is happening, and I just can't seem to come up with a solution for it. What do I do? Yeah, okay, you've done the search. No one can be mad at you because you've done the search. This either never happened, or you just don't really understand the solution that somebody else came up with. In that case, even write that in the message. Hey, my halo lights are acting funny, and I can't seem to figure out how to get the connector to work right. I've searched the group, and I didn't see a post on this. Does anybody have an idea how I can get this to work? Bam, easy peasy solution. That's how you should approach it. Another thing to think about when you're joining a group is don't react to everything. Sometimes the thread gets confusing. You started off talking about, the battery, the alternator, you know, an oil leak, something along those lines. And somehow we got on, you know, this whole my junk is bigger than your junk type of nonsense, and everybody's arguing and people are calling each other stupid and yada, yada, yada. Don't give in to that. Honestly, what you do is be positive. Write a response to the ones that are in favor and ignore those who want to be negative. Eventually, what usually happens is the person who's being negative will eventually either stop writing or actually try to become a part of the solution. You know, the reality is people are group oriented. We tend to follow a group mentality, which is not exactly a good thing always. So if you do your best to keep the conversation steered on the direction you prefer it to be, or your best to keep the conversation going in the right direction, chances are you're going to have more success talking to people in the group about the problem. So there you have it. Proper etiquette when joining a Facebook group. It's okay to be the guy or girl who doesn't know anything, and it's okay to be the person who knows everything. Just don't be a If you like what I've been talking about, like, share, and subscribe, and join me next time with your everyday petrol head. I gotta go deal with this traffic.